I used to believe that when betrayal comes, you feel it immediately, like a punch to the chest, like something snapping loudly in front of
I
you.
was wrong. Betrayal doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it sits quietly across from you, smiling. Sometimes it listens to your fears. Sometimes it calls you by your name like it means it. My name is Grace, and this is the story of how I trusted a man when everyone warned me not to. Before I met Kim Min-jae, my life wasn't falling apart. It was just quiet. The kind of quiet that makes you question whether you matter to anyone at all. I had friends, yes. A job. A routine. But emotionally, I felt invisible. Like I was always the one listening, supporting, understanding. And never the one being chosen. So when Minjay chose me, I didn't question it. I clung to it. I met him in a cafe I used to go to after work. Nothing dramatic. No sparks flying across the room. He was seated alone, reading, his coffee untouched. When I asked if the seat across from him was free, he looked up and smiled. Not a wide smile. A gentle one. Of course, he said, his accent soft but clear. We talked about small things at first. Work. Music. Why he moved here from Korea. He listened. Really listened. Not the kind where someone waits for their turn to speak. The kind where they remember what you say. When I laughed, he smiled like he caused it. That should have been my first warning. Minjay was calm in a way that felt intentional. Like nothing about him was accidental. He walked me home that day, keeping just enough distance to be respectful. When we reached my gate, he stopped. I enjoyed today, he said. Then he bowed slightly and added, Sleep well, Grace. I watched him walk away before I went inside. I remember thinking, he feels safe. Our connection grew slowly, but deeply. Text messages turned into long calls. Calls turned into late-night conversations that blurred into early mornings. He asked questions no one else ever did.
What scares you the most? When was the last time you felt truly seen? Do you believe people can change?
When I answered, he didn't judge. He just nodded, like my words made sense. Sometimes, during our calls, there would be silence. Not awkward silence. Comfortable silence. I'd forget we weren't in the same room. When we finally started dating, it didn't feel rushed. It felt earned. Minjay wasn't overly affectionate in public, but in private, he was intentional. He held my hand like it mattered. When we sat close, his knee always touched mine. One evening, we were watching a movie at his place. The lights were low. The city hummed outside the window. He shifted closer. Not suddenly. Slowly. Our shoulders brushed. Then his hand found mine. He didn't squeeze. Just rested his fingers there, warm and steady. I leaned into him without thinking. That was the night he kissed me for the first time. Soft. Unhurried. Like he had all the time in the world. No urgency. No pressure. Just intention. After that, everything deepened. We created routines that felt sacred. Sunday morning walks. Shared playlists. Late dinners where we talked about everything and nothing. Sometimes he'd sit beside me, tracing slow circles on the back of my hand while I talked. Other times, he'd rest his forehead against mine, eyes closed, breathing matching mine. Those moments felt intimate in a way words can't fully explain. I felt chosen. But the warnings came early. My best friend asked,
Why does he avoid group settings? You don't know much about his past. He's private, he's different.
He's private, I said. He's different. Different felt better than lonely. There were little things. His phone always face down. He never posted photos of us. He discouraged me from tagging him online. I like keeping my life simple, he'd say. Too many eyes bring problems. It sounded reasonable. So I agreed. One night, as we lay on his couch, legs tangled, music playing softly, he asked me something strange.
Has anyone ever betrayed you badly?
Yes, a long time ago. It still hurts.
He nodded slowly, his thumb still tracing my wrist. I would never do that to you, he said. I believed him. The first time he asked me for money, it was small. I'm waiting for a transfer, he explained. Just for a few days. I didn't think twice. The second time, it was more.
I hate asking. I just don't have anyone else.
It's okay.
I sent it. Love makes generosity feel natural. It makes questioning feel cruel. Sometimes, though, I'd catch him staring at me like he was thinking about something else. Once, I noticed a notification pop up on his phone. A message in Korean. I asked casually who it was. He didn't look startled. Just smiled. A friend from home. That was it. No explanation. No details. I told myself I was overthinking. The night before everything began to change, He came over unexpectedly. He looked tired. I asked if he was okay. He sat beside me, took my hands, and said, "Do you trust me, Grace?" The question felt heavy. "Yes," I said. He leaned forward and rested his forehead against mine, eyes closed. For a moment, neither of us spoke. That moment felt intimate. Sacred. I didn't know it then, but that was the moment the story quietly split in two. After that night, something about Minjay changed. Not drastically, not enough to point at, just enough to feel. He still called, still showed up, still touched me gently, like I was something precious. But his eyes no longer stayed on mine for long. He started checking his phone more often, always excusing himself to answer calls outside, always returning calmer than before. I told myself it was work. I told myself love doesn't need constant reassurance. The money requests increased. Never urgently, never emotionally, just consistently.
"I'll pay you back once everything settles,"
He'd say. And I believed him, because he still kissed my forehead before leaving, still held me close at night, still said my name like it mattered. One afternoon, my friend Lydia called me unexpectedly. Her voice sounded tight. "Grace, I need to ask you something." I smiled, thinking nothing of it. "What's wrong?" She hesitated.
Are you sure Minjay is single? Of course he is.
There was silence on the line. Then she said, "Grace, I think you should see something." She sent me a screenshot. It was a photo. Minjay, standing beside a woman I'd never seen before. Her head rested on his shoulder, his arm wrapped around her waist. The caption was in Korean. But one thing was clear. The date. It was taken 2 weeks ago. My heart didn't break immediately. It stalled. I stared at the screen, waiting for logic to appear. I called Minjay. He answered on the third ring. "Hey," he said calmly. I didn't accuse him, didn't shout. I sent him the photo. There was a pause. Then he laughed. "Grace," he said gently, "you're overthinking again." He explained everything. The woman was a cousin. The post was misunderstood. People love drama. His tone was steady, unbothered. By the end of the call, I was apologizing. That's when I should have left. But I didn't. Weeks later, the twist came from a place I never expected. My phone buzzed late at night. An unknown number. The message read, "You don't know the truth about him." I stared at it. Then another message came. "I think we need to talk." Woman to woman. My chest tightened. I asked who it was. The reply came slowly. "My name is Hannah. I am Kim Min-jae's fiancée." I felt the room tilt. Fiancée. The word didn't make sense. I called the number. She answered immediately. Her voice was calm. Too calm. "I didn't want to believe it either," she said. "But he's been lying to both of us." She told me everything. They had been together for 4 years. Engaged for 1. He told her he was working abroad temporarily, that the money issues were stress-related. The money I gave him? He told her it came from his savings. He told her I was a co-worker who misunderstood boundaries. I couldn't breathe. She sent proof. Photos. Voice notes. Messages. The dates overlapped perfectly. Every moment I thought was special. He was texting her afterward. The night he asked me if I trusted him, he proposed to her the next morning. I confronted him that same night. He didn't deny it. He didn't apologize. He sat across from me, calm as ever. "You weren't supposed to find out like this," he said. I asked him why.
Why me? Why lie? Why destroy 2 lives?
He looked at me like I was asking something unreasonable.
"I needed stability, and you offered it."
That sentence shattered something inside me. I asked him if he ever loved me. He paused, then said, "I cared for you." Not loved. Cared. After that night, he disappeared. Blocked me everywhere. Deleted messages. Erased evidence. He married Hannah 3 months later. I found out through a mutual connection. A small ceremony. Family present. He looked happy. That was when the real betrayal began. Because the lies didn't stop with me. I started hearing things. That I was obsessed. That I tried to ruin his relationship. That I imagined things. He told people I was unstable. That I fabricated screenshots. That hurt more than the truth. I doubted myself daily. Replayed conversations. Second-guessed my instincts. Some nights, I couldn't sleep. Other nights, I slept too much. Because gaslighting doesn't just confuse you. It rewrites you. But one thing saved me. Hannah reached out again. She left him. She found out the truth too late. He had done this before. Different cities. Different women. Same pattern. I wasn't special. I was selected. That realization hurt. But it also freed me. Because betrayal stops being personal when you understand it was practiced. Healing didn't come suddenly. It came in fragments. In mornings where I didn't check my phone hoping for an apology. In nights where his name didn't echo in my head before sleep. For a long time, I blamed myself. For trusting too easily. For giving too much. For ignoring the warnings. But then I realized something important. Minjay didn't succeed because I was weak. He succeeded because I was kind. And kindness, when misused, doesn't become a flaw. It becomes a lesson. I stopped asking what was real and what wasn't. Because the truth no longer lived in his words. It lived in how I survived. I rebuilt slowly. I learned to trust my instincts again. To pause when something felt off. To stop explaining away discomfort just to keep peace. And most importantly, I learned this. Love doesn't require you to disappear. Anyone who needs you silent, confused, or doubting yourself is not protecting love. They're protecting control. Sometimes, I think about the version of me who sat across from him in that cafe. The girl who felt invisible. The girl who mistook attention for intention. I don't feel embarrassed for her. I feel proud. Because even after betrayal, she chose to heal instead of harden. If you're watching this and something feels familiar, if you're constantly explaining someone's behavior to yourself, if your concerns are always met with "you're overthinking," if love feels confusing more than comforting, please hear this clearly. You are not crazy. You are not too sensitive. And you are not asking for too much. You're asking the wrong person. Minjay never came back. No apology. No explanation. And that used to haunt me. Until I realized, closure doesn't come from them. It comes from choosing yourself anyway. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever trusted someone who made you doubt yourself, like this video so more people hear stories like this. Subscribe for real, emotional stories that speak truth. Comment below. Your story might help someone feel less alone. Because sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is walk away quietly and never explain yourself again.